Infidelity weeks before wedding. She and her family kept the secret for 8 years, still so painful. Was told that this would be the subreddit that may be the most helpful. My wife 41 and I 39 have been married for 12 years. We have 2 amazing kids. I love my wife very much. She's been my best friend since I was 15 years old. I remember in the weeks before our wedding, she was spending more time out with her coworkers than usual. She was not acting like herself, something felt off. I started to feel paranoid. I felt so much shame for even thinking that maybe my wife-to-be was not being faithful just weeks out from our wedding. I remember asking her if there was something going on with her and one of her coworkers. She said there was not. They were just friends. I believed her and didn't really dwell on it. 4 years ago, 8 years and 2 kids into our marriage, in a therapy session together, she shares that she did have a physical relationship on 2 occasions with her coworker in those few weeks before we got married. I was devastated, blindsided. My heart was broken. There's part of me that really felt like I needed to know the details. So I asked for the details. She said they didn't have sex. It was all making out, over the clothes, under the shirt kind of stuff. It was hard to hear. But a part of me has never fully been satisfied with the details of the story that I got. I hate that. I feel so much shame for still feeling that there is more to the story. At the time of this infidelity, in the weeks before the wedding, she confided in her parents and sister about what happened. I am not sure exactly what everyone's response was, but I know her father's advice was to not tell me. So she didn't, and the wedding went off as planned. Not only did my wife wait 8 years to tell me about the infidelity, the rest of her family have all held this secret from me, a family that I was very close to, Sunday dinners, vacations, family parties and gatherings. They have known me since I was 15 years old. The thought of people sitting at my wedding, listening to me make my vows, watching me join my life with my best friend, knowing that just a few weeks prior she was messing around with another man makes me feel sick, foolish. It's hard to look at wedding pictures and celebrate anniversaries since then. When the truth finally came out, I don't recall any of the people that held the secret from me, apologizing or trying to make amends. The dinners, the vacations, the family parties, all continued as usual. My wife and I did seek professional help to work through these issues. We worked on this for a few months in therapy. We went to a couples retreat to learn stronger communication techniques. We put in the work. It helped, but I just don't think I have processed it completely. The years since finding out have proven to be especially difficult. I have had 2 heart attacks pretty healthy, but I have spasms that can cause heart attacks. A non-cancerous brain tumor that took the hearing in one ear. Treatment-resistant depression, that I have battled for almost 20 years, has worsened to the point that I had to leave my career as a teacher after 16 years. It's been tough. My wife travels for work a few times a year for conferences and trainings. A recent trip she went on triggered a lot of these unprocessed feelings around the infidelity. On these trips, she's meeting new people, going out to dinner, and having those deep, academic discussions you have when you are on these types of trips. All of this is healthy, important stuff for adults to have. I try to not bother her with my stuff when she's on these trips. We check in each day, she talks to me and the kids, normal stuff. One night I was really struggling. I wanted to talk to her. She's my partner, my best friend of almost 25 years. So I called her a few times that evening. No luck. I think to myself, she'll see my calls and get back to me. She doesn't. Try again in the morning. No luck. When I do talk to her later in the day, she says she was out late with her friends and colleagues. She says she didn't check her phone or even see my calls. That may be true. It probably is the truth. But I hate that this doubt, that I don't 100% trust my partner. When she returned from her trip, I shared how I was feeling. She listened. She said she understood why I would feel hurt and doubtful. But the hurt, doubt, and shame about doubting my wife is eating me alive. I believe the feeling of being betrayed by my wife and my in-laws has been festering under the surface of everything the past few years. No amount of therapy individually weekly for years, discussion, and or personal couples work seems to be enough. I know I am attaching my shame to a decision she made. I am the one that is making myself feel shameful about this situation, not her. So many relationships have gone through infidelity and come through the other side stronger. I feel like a whiny child. I feel like I should be stronger than this. But I'm not, and it hurts. Feels good to write it all out. Keeping it inside isn't doing me any good. I love my wife, but the shame that doesn't seem to get any better. How have you healed from past infidelity and family secrets? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, go with your gut. If you feel something isn't right, verify. Your gut was right before and you were lied to. I'd dig into it for sure. You should not have to live with doubt, and it is obvious she can live with secrets. Honesty is not one of her top priorities. Redditor 2, when I found out my ex cheated, it was a trickle-down explanation. First we were breaking up. Then I found out he'd slept with his ex behind my back and they were making a go of it. Then I found out he'd slept with a friend the day I moved out and he moved back in with the ex. So he slept with me Wednesday, then told me we were done. After sleeping with ex Tuesday. And slept with other girl Thursday, and then slept with ex Thursday night. For some reason, I took him back. I decided to trust him. All in. I didn't check his phone. I didn't ask where he was when he was late from work. I just decided I was going to be perfect, and if he had decided to come back to me and work it out, there had to be a reason. But I felt shame. I developed an eating disorder. I changed how I looked. I kept trying to be better, like his decision to be a scumbag was somehow on me. And the shame was unending. I couldn't let it go. And then, like you, one day he didn't answer his phone when he should have. I panicked. Immediately, I felt guilty. I was being ridiculous. I needed to trust him. He would call back. Of course he would. But he didn't. And when he got home at 3 a.m. instead of 6 p.m. when he should have, I knew what was up. He swore he just met with his ex and they had a long talk about the house and business stuff. She had tried to come onto him but he declined. I didn't accept that. Same trickle. She met him at the door in lingerie. He tried to say no. They only made out. Okay, she gave him head. Fine, they had time. He wasn't sure what he wanted anymore. So all this shame welled up in me again. Not only was I ashamed from the whole first go around, but now I was ashamed for being so stupid. I packed and left. 3 months later he was at my door begging for me back. He didn't want to leave her. They had a house and 2 new cars they needed to be together to afford. He wanted his cake and to eat it too. I'm ashamed to say that the woman who stole him from me had been harassing me, calling me, leaving voicemails while they had time, leaving photos and comments on Facebook of things they did and how he chose her over me, and my anger won out. I met him at a hotel a few times. We never had time, but we talked about getting back together. I recorded our calls and saved all emails, texts and receipts from the hotels, knowing those were days she was gone on business. And when she attacked me again, I sent her everything publicly on FB as a response. I thought I would feel vindicated, and for a brief moment I did. She thought we had been having an affair. They broke up. Lost everything. But honestly now I live with the shame that I sunk to her level and did that to her. No matter what she was doing to me, or how much shame and pain I was in, I'm not that person. So my whole experience ran the gamut of shame. I'm still ashamed of how I let him treat me. The abuse, physical and time. That I took him back. That I blamed myself. That I made apologies for him. That I sunk to such an evil thing to do. Shame sucks. And I feel it all the time. My only excuse is that I was 24 when this happened, and to me that's still immature, especially compared to his and her 33-37. I hope you feel better. Don't take on someone else's shame. And don't sink to a place where you should feel shame. You're a good person. Sit with that. Redditor 3, God, it's always the coworkers. And yet, everyone always tries to act like going on one-on-one lunches and for drinks is okay because they work together. Redditor 4, it's abnormal for a spouse to not respond to calls or texts like that. She easily could have when she got back to her hotel. Or at the least first thing in the morning. especially when she knows her history and the assumptions you may make. It will be hard to focus on you and your healing until you decide if you're going to pursue whether she's lying or not. Something doesn't add up.